Welcome back to On the Sideline. My name's Adam, and today we have a Euro 2021 tier list. I'm joined by Kurt.
Hello guys, how you doing? You alright?
And we're going to do a tier list on England's 2021 squad, looking at who we think should go, and also bearing in mind who Gareth Southgate will probably take, knowing his judgment now for the past few years of his managerial career.
Yeah.
So should we start off logical place first? The goalkeepers. There's only 3 in this tier list.
Definitely. I'm pretty excited for this one. We're actually getting quite close now to the Euro, so it's it won't be long, I think, until the squad's being confirmed.
Oh, to be fair, as many listeners won't know, but the both of us were going to be going to Euro 2020
yep.
to
England
watch
versus
England.
Croatia. Can't wait
First
for that.
game, grudge match. Yep.
So yeah.
No, go on.
We'll get started with the goalkeepers, yeah?
So there's 3 here. We've got Nick Pope, Dean Henderson, John Pickford. Like I was just going to say, I don't really think anyone else comes close. I guess you could say maybe Alex McCarthy or Angus Gunn at Southampton, but neither of them are consistent enough. The rest of English keepers really are in the Championship.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head. So it's just really a main 3. Butland's back, but he's just been peripheral, not achieving the,
pretty meh. Yeah.
He's never really achieved the hype that he was then. So who would you think? Should we start with number 1 as Jordan Pickford? Gareth Southgate,
No one is getting in front of Pickford, no matter how much sort of anyone else really wants him to. So I'm going to put him starting every game because I think he will be starting every game. I do think that Pope might be a better goalkeeper. I think that Pickford is better with his feet, which I think is quite important for this England team. But I think if Pickford does drop in form, like in the end of the season, I do think like Southgate might be considering like maybe having words with Pope, or I don't know. But yeah, what do you think?
So yeah, obviously like Southgate has gone between a back 4 and a back 5/3, obviously liking to play out from the back, and Pickford's strength with his feet makes up for that. But to be honest, I don't think that strength makes up for his lacking in saving and shot stopping at sometimes. And if Kepa wasn't in the league, he would be the worst keeper in the league, especially for like shot stopping. And obviously, no one's getting close to them for England, as you said. But both Pope and Henderson could easily, I think, dislodge Pickford. Henderson's a bit in a difficult situation because obviously now he's finally made his debut for Man United in the league. But he's not going to displace De Gea week in, week out just yet. And Pope is in a side which is kind of strong defensively, but this season Burnley have kind of just fallen off a cliff really from their lofty heights of
I'd like to see Pope go
to
to a better club, to be honest, because I mean I think it's almost unified that people just don't really like Burnley in the Premier League. The way they play football, it's not really great. I think most people want to see them get relegated, to be honest, in for a while now. And I think it would be nice to see Pope like at a better team. I think he would get into 13, 12 teams maybe in the Premier League as a starting keeper. But there are a lot of decent keepers in the Prem already. And like you said, Henderson, he's not going to dislodge De Gea like anytime soon, really. So I think Pickford will be starting every game. But if you want to go with someone else, maybe because we think they're better, that's absolutely fine with me.
We'll probably go Pickford just because he does play week in, week out. I would personally pick Henderson, but that's a bit of United bias.
Yeah.
But also, I think Henderson will eventually dislodge him as number 1, unless Pope makes a bigger move.
Yeah, and I guess that there's going to be 3 keepers in the squad, like so they're all going to go basically. I'm pretty sure there's 3, no, that goes. So I guess the next part is deciding who is on the plane and who's making up numbers from the last 2.
I'd say Pickford, Henderson, Pope, but you may differ.
Yeah, I prefer Henderson also, and I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think we saw that sort of on loan last season at Sheffield United, no?
Yes.
Yeah, he was solid there last season, and I think that he is a good keeper. I think that Pope might be I don't want to say more proven because we've seen enough from Henderson, but I think in Southgate's mind that Pope will be the second keeper for now, but I would like to see Henderson get a bit more game time, and I mean, the thing with England goalkeepers, I think, is that we don't really have like that number one keeper, like someone that's cemented that position, which is a bit of a shame because we have like decent keepers, but we don't have a really solid keeper. We have sort of choices, but we don't have that first number one choice that you want. So yeah, I think let's go Henderson second and Pope third.
Yeah, we haven't really had that for many years now. Even when Joe Hart was on number one, he still wasn't like.
Even
like
before that,
top,
really, like
top
David
European
James.
keeper.
Yeah,
we've never really had like one of Europe's best keepers.
Mm.
So hopefully, we kick on and some people either come out of the academies or Henderson maybe nails down that starting place at United.
Yeah.
Or Pope gets a bigger move somewhere. So yeah.
Definitely. So where do you want to move on?
So I guess maybe we try and start defensively. Maybe I understand like the player pool down there is kind of jumbled, but should we stay? The first person I can see really is Trent. Probably nailed on starter. England's best right back.
Yeah, he should be starting. Definitely. Yeah, at right back he'll be starting every game. That's pretty much a staple.
Okay, so that's really, I can't really add or anything else to that. So Trippier maybe, interesting case.
Yeah, I mean personally, I like Trippier. I mean, I think he's done well for England. I think since he's left Tottenham, from what I don't watch Spanish football, so I can't sit here and say I know loads about it. But it seems like he's doing a decent job at Atletico Madrid as well. Now Trent is always going to be the obvious option. Like at the moment, he's obviously playing at probably the best team in the world at the moment. Like maybe not in this second, but the last couple of years, the best team in the world, Liverpool. But I do think that Trippier has been proven for England, which is very important because he knows that Southgate wants to play. In a back four, I think it's going to be Trent, but I don't know. I don't know, actually. What do you think? It's a bit of a tough one.
So I'd definitely say, in Southgate's eyes, Trippier will be on the plane. He wouldn't be a guaranteed starter. Especially recently in like Nations Leagues, friendlies, whatever the games we've had in this stupid period in COVID.
Yeah.
Trippier has been put on the left, which I've never understood, but he has proven to be dependable, and he will make the squad. Obviously, like you said, he's played well for England and he's given the nation that free kick moment.
That free kick.
I don't know about you, Kurt, but my life hasn't peaked at that point.
Yeah, that was an absolute peak. That free kick was mental. Yeah. So we'll put him on the plane?
Limbs. Yeah, on the plane makes sense. We could, obviously, there's so many players to choose from. We can always shuffle them about if we maybe to begin with. It's easy to start placing them in positions, but we might have to shuffle about some tiers.
Yeah, and also, as you can see, it's a bit of a jumbled mess for you guys, as we said, and it's also a bit of a jumbled mess for us. So we might see something, oh yeah, they'll be starting, and then we might get to the next centre back and be like, oh, didn't really consider him, but now it's sort of changed what I'm thinking. So because we've actually looking at
everything's relative after a while, isn't it?
Yeah, and there actually is quite a few decent centre backs here actually, which I sort of forgot with England. You keep thinking, because when I think of this England team, I think positions we're lacking is sort of solid central midfielders and centre backs more than anything else. So yeah,
obviously, it's a jumbled mess, and that is basically what England football team is in 2020 because the whole pandemic and everything. So
yeah,
this squad would obviously look different if 2020 Euros actually was happening. Lots of players down there either not been in good form as they are now, or in the injuries, and maybe other people would have been considered in this tier list. But as we are looking forward to 2021. Should we go for another defender? Maybe Ben Chilwell?
Yeah, sure. What do you think for Ben Chilwell?
Obviously, he's just got his move to Chelsea, 50 million, I think. Nailed on probably England's best left-back out and out.
Yeah.
That we have right now. Obviously, I don't see Luke Shaw down there, and that's understandably so. I don't overly think everyone else comes close to him, especially... I can see Bukayo Saka, but I don't know about you, but I don't think anyone knows his position or his true position yet.
Yeah, I think he's looking maybe more to be more of a left winger because he does have that strong attacking threat. But I think in terms of Chilwell, you've hit the nail on the head. He is our out and out left back, and he's we've seen at Leicester. He's come to Chelsea now. He's still brung that form pretty much straight to Chelsea, and he looks to be very solid. So he I don't know what it is with Chilwell, but I get this vibe in that he just is like that proper English player. Like you just get that sort of feel from him, and I think he definitely is first choice in that left back position.
Yeah, you'd be, I don't know. You would probably say like he isn't as offensive as like Trent or other right backs we have, but he actually does have an eye for goal and he can put a cross in.
Yeah, definitely.
Which you'd probably say like Luke Shaw versus him, you'd normally think Luke Shaw is a better like attacking fullback, defensively nowhere near. But Chilwell's surprising in the fact that his all-round game is quite strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is just the clear choice over like Luke Shaw. I mean, there's also Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who played left back a bit, but I don't even think he's in the conversation as well, to be honest, in terms of that position.
Would you want to go on to him?
Yeah, we can go on to Ainsley Maitland-Niles. So, I mean, for me, I'd probably say he's going to be... I like Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I think he's done well for Arsenal, but looking at this group of players, he's probably going to be either danger zone or no chance. What do you think?
I think I'd probably put him in no chance. I think he is a good player, and there's something to come from that.
Yeah, he's very young.
But if he can't nail down a starting position in that Arsenal side, then I don't think he gets anywhere near the England Euro 2021 squad. In his favour, he is quite versatile. Obviously, play right back mainly. Can obviously do a job on the left, like you said, and also I think he was a midfielder from the start of his career. So, and he has wanted to play more in that centre midfield role. But if it was just me and or it's just us, and we were just maybe picking an ideal squad or one where we don't take into consideration like actual big games and like tournament experience, then maybe he'd get in. But right now, especially with everyone else down there, I think no chance. Yeah,
I agree. And I think actually Ainsley Maitland-Niles might be in it twice, so I'm going to have to put him into no chance twice, which is a bit harsh. Sorry, Ainsley. But yeah, I don't think he'll run too much. All right, let's move on to... I've got an interesting one. Tyrone Mings. What do you think?
Personally, I find him quite overrated, but he is obviously in a weaker side than everyone else. And compared to a lot of English depth at centre-back, he probably will make the squad. I probably never really... when he joined Villa, I thought it was a total overpayment, 20 million at the time, but it's just that English tax.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he was very good at Bournemouth. There was that time where he stamped on Zlatan's head, and I've never really forgiven him since. But he has proved to be a Premier League player and probably one of our better centre-backs, especially looking at some of the others. He is mobile. He can be physical, but I don't think he is as dominant as he needs to be one of the top centre-backs in the league or top English centre-backs in the league.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure where to put him on the tier list. He might be one that gets moved about.
Yeah, I would say for now maybe making up numbers, because I agree with you that he's in that squad, and also considering that Villa seems to be having I don't want to speak too soon, but a fairly decent season at the moment, and if that continues, I definitely think like making up the numbers. But I think it could be in between making up numbers and in the danger zone, so we can be a bit nice to him now, say making up the numbers, and we'll see as it pans out if he should be dropped down maybe one tier or not.
Yeah, but obviously we're not actually picking a full 23-man squad.
Yeah.
So yeah, shall we pick another centre back? Maybe Joe Gomez.
Yeah, Joe Gomez. So I haven't really watched too much of Joe Gomez. I don't know if he's been, because I've seen Liverpool. Obviously, I know they have Van Dijk who's injured now. Sometimes they play with Matip and also they play with Gomez. I like Gomez. As far as I know, he's very good. I'm not sure if he's starting for England, but if he's not, I think he's close. Like I'd probably say on the plane. But yeah, what about you? What do you think?
So obviously, when that kind of curse for Liverpool happened where Van Dijk got injured from Pickford, funnily enough, and we didn't consider that in his tier list. Gomez has got injured as well recently. I think he is out for most of the season. But I would say he's probably our best centre-back.
Really?
On form. Maybe like in a pair, like for England, Harry Maguire has been solid.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't think he has made a career, and he got that move to United off that one header against Sweden, big slabhead. But I think them two as a pair is probably our best two.
Yeah.
And he's mobile enough to work in a back three as well. Obviously, he's probably never kicked on as much as he should for England. But I remember that spat he had, or fight he had with Sterling in the camp, and he got dropped. I think that was probably made a bit more out of it by the media. But yeah, I'd say he'd definitely be on the plane.
Yeah. Okay, I'll stick
sure.
him in on the plane. And maybe for the next one, what about Rhys James, who's pretty interesting at the moment? What do you think about Rhys James?
Well, he's pretty much nailed down a starting spot for Chelsea in that right back berth. Like, as Pickford is getting on and probably can deputise in centre back, but he's kind of had quite a rise from being on loan at Wigan 2 seasons ago to going straight into the first team of Chelsea, which proves a lot from his for his qualities. Right back's a really tricky area because there's so much talent in England right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's Trent, Trippier, Wan-Bissaka, which we'll get onto, Kyle Walker, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles in this list. But then you've also got Tariq Lamptey, who's carving up trees for Brighton right now. And obviously, Chelsea are willing to let Lamptey go because they backed Rhys James, and I understandably so. He's pretty strong. He's solid defensively. I think probably need to work on that a bit more. But surprisingly, he's good going forward and pretty good from a dead ball. Actually, I've noticed some like long range goals, likes a free kick. I think for this tier list, obviously he hasn't played enough for England compared to the rest of the right back. So
yeah,
we're probably looking at like maybe the middle two.
I would say it's probably put him in danger zone because I don't really think there's much chance of him getting in just over the other right backs. But I think he is having a pretty phenomenal season at Chelsea. And if at the end of the season Chelsea have a really fantastic season, and he's been a part of that from start to finish, and hopefully not, but if there could be an injury or two, then I think he's definitely got a chance to get into the squad. But for now, I'd probably say danger zone. What do you think?
I think that's fair. Like, danger zone obviously doesn't. It's kind of a weird connotation in this sense because it's not really. It sounds bad, but it's just not nailed. Definitely not nailed on.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got a chance, but he's not definite just because of the amount of competition in that area.
Yeah. What should we keep? Do you want to stick with defenders, or do you want to maybe mix it up a bit and come back, or what do you think?
I say let's get through some more defenders. Like
yeah,
we've obviously just said about Rhys James and Trent and Trips. So maybe AWB, Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
Like for my money, the best defensive probably player that England have. He's unbelievable in that spider-like slide tackle he has. His recovery tackles are ridiculous at times. Obviously, he is lacking going forward, which a lot of other English right-backs are better than him at. But I think he's been unlucky to come through and to make the big move up to United from Palace in a era that Trent is coming through and Rhys James is coming through. So for England, I'd say he's not made. Has he made his debut?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think like he's played in like the Nations League game, so I don't think he started like a Euro or World Cup game.
But he's never gone to a tournament. So he's made some squads, but then has pulled out with injury or just not been selected. So in Southgate's eyes, I don't think he would be nailed on. He may also. If you're starting for United week in, week out, it's hard to not pick him, but there's so much competition in that area.
Yeah, I guess. Go on.
I guess maybe I would say should be fine in a sense, because if you look at an overall squad with all these people down there, apart from Chilwell, there's not too many left backs there, so you probably would take Trippier as another left back, and then maybe Wan-Bissaka as well.
I'd say, to be honest, I mean, it's hard not to put Wan-Bissaka on the plane because he is a quality right back. I mean, like, yeah, second best right back in the league behind Trent, I think. Unless I'm missing anyone. I'm pretty sure he's probably the second best right back in the league. So for me, I'll probably say on the plane. What do you think?
I'm happy to back that. Yeah, I would take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. All right, we'll stick him on the plane.
It's just, yeah. Should we finish off defenders?
Yeah, sure.
Right-sided defenders, and should we finish off and go for Kyle Walker? So obviously someone who you'd think by now would have kind of been like ushered out of the squad, but he's really held down that position at right back for City, which the amount of money they've spent on defenders, him included, has been remarkable really when they bring in João Cancelo thinking, oh, he'll usurp him, but he's stayed strong and he's been pretty impressive in a back three as a third centre-back as well, not just as a right back. And Southgate seems to love him. As much as he probably annoys certain fans, he still is probably one of our best defenders. It's hard not to see him on like a guaranteed starter, really.
Yeah, I really like Kyle Walker. I mean, obviously, when he played for Spurs, I really liked him, but I even watch him play for City now, and I think he really offers something a little bit different to other defenders in that, obviously, you can play him at right back, but I do think that most likely, as much as I'd rather Southgate go with a back four, because I love to watch like our attacking options that England have, I do think for major tournaments against big teams, we'll go with, I don't know if you want to call it a back three or a back five, but yeah, 3 centre-backs with wing-backs. And I think he's sort of not nailed down a centre-back in that 3, but I think at right centre-back, the pace that he has, obviously he's 30 years old now, so he's not like a young player anymore, but the pace he has is still, I still think he's one of the fastest players in the league, definitely defensively. And I think he's not necessarily the best defender, but he's very good, and his speed does really, really help him. You've seen like wingers go through on goal and he's like caught them up and put in that slide tackle that you need that not every defender can give you. And I also think going forward he offers quite a lot. I've watched him for City recently and he like sometimes gets forward like on the edge of the box. He takes a shot from long range, and I think he is really like a solid option. Like you said, in an England team where centre backs are not fantastic, there is definitely competition for places. I think Kyle Walker is really a solid option. At right back, I don't think he should really be starting, but I think if we play 5 at the back, I think he should really be given that right centre-back role, in my opinion. So I'd probably put him in on the plane, maybe not starting every game, but what do you think?
I would put him now down starter.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's if anything, he's upped his game recently under Guardiola.
Yeah.
To being a real monstrous ball playing centre-back.
Really rate Kyle Walker, to be honest. Really rate him.
Should we go through a couple of centre-backs who are on the periphery of actually getting in England squads for friendlies, let alone major competition? So down there I see there's 3, Michael Keane, Lewis Dunk and Conor Cody. Michael Keane's probably the one of those 3 which has had the most international experience and is playing in a side which obviously Everton under Ancelotti this season have been surprisingly good, especially going forward. It's hard to say what to think on Michael Keane. He's probably a squad player that will go, but maybe not start, play the dead rubber games or the rotation centre backs. But he is still nailed down a spot in that Everton defence, and they're probably going to aim for trying to get into Europe this season, or trying up to at least get a top half finish.
Yeah.
Then you have No, sorry, go on.
That's all right. I'd say, I agree with you. I think he's probably making up numbers. I think, as you said, for Euro 2021, he's probably nailed down a squad. But in terms of the next competition, which I don't know if it's going to be World Cup 2022 or not, but if it is, he'll be maybe danger zone for that. I don't think he's going to be a very long-term solution, but as for now, where we don't have that much quality, I think he probably would be making up numbers.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
So the other 2 are Lewis Dunk and Conor Cody, both club captains for their respective sides, Brighton and Wolves. And obviously, Conor Cody's played bloody in every minute that has ever been for the Wolves. I don't know how he does it sometimes, and he is Mr. Wolves really. In that sea of George Mendes' Portuguese imports, he is the main man from Liverpool. Not Wolves, but he is He's good, but I don't overly think that he should be an England squad player.
Yeah.
Or England in an international competition. Obviously, I don't overly know how the makeup works of how many centre-backs you should take. But like we've said, Walker will probably deputise into a centre-back role. I see Eric Dyer down there. If he goes, or if we decide that he should go, or Southgate does, then he'll probably drop back into a back five. I think there is better out there in that squad that we have. I'd probably put him above Dunk in the sense of tiers. I may say Cody would make danger zone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And Dunk would be no chance.
Yeah.
Like, Dunk's been consistent for Brighton, but I don't see him making that next step. I don't know where those rumours of him going £45 million moves to Chelsea came from. I think that's just purely because he's English. But I would say it's easy just to, like, if we want to get through, finish off these centre-backs and defenders as a whole, it's probably easier to just go Cody, danger zone, and Dunk, no chance.
Yeah, we've still got Harry Maguire. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, Harry Maguire, I think he's been a little bit rocky at United, maybe this season, maybe sort of last season as well. But Maguire's, for me, he's starting every game as well. I'm not really too happy about saying that because I don't think he's fantastic, but I think he's been good for England. Yeah, I think he's starting every game, to be honest.
I think there's a lot of qualities that people don't respect with him, and I think he's obviously the price tag and football Twitter meme culture attack him a lot, and he does give them a lot of ammunition in performances. But if you look at stats and you look at if you don't look at mistakes, which is easy to do in football, if you don't just look at mistakes, he is one of our more comfortable players on the ball, especially in centre back, and he can pass out of the defence.
Yeah, and he's very good in the air.
He
is
lacking in pace, but yeah, that's what you need your other centre back to be. But he's great in the air.
I
also have noticed that we've forgotten. Oh no, go on. Sorry.
No, I remember as well. I think at the World Cup, and I don't know if he's been this United or not, but he even gets involved in set pieces in terms of like from a free kick, they'll cross it into him, not for him to shoot, for him to then sort of put it back in the danger area.
Oh, Maguire backstick.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, starting every game. Do you think?
Yep, absolutely. I've noticed, as I was going to say, we've forgotten one centre back, and that is James Tarkowski.
Yeah.
I'll easily no chance.
Yeah, no chance.
Burnley have been shocking this season, as much as Pope's been decent, because even if you're doing bad aside, your keeper can still look good. Tarkowski has been his former self from years gone by.
Yeah, I think no chance as well.
Don't see, no chance easy.
So I don't know if you want to class Eric Dyer as a centre back or a midfielder. Obviously, this season for Tottenham, he's been playing at centre back, but I don't know if he has more chance really playing in midfielder in defence.
I suppose it's the next logical step to transition from defence to midfield is to talk about Dyer. I suppose his versatility will get him in England squad. I hadn't really rated him for quite a while. I never knew why Mourinho, when he was United boss, would ever want him. But he's got something out of him this season, and he has been consistent, if not if unspectacular.
Yeah, I really rate Dyer this season. Obviously, like for me as a Spurs fan, it's quite easy to rate him, but I think he's been solid at the back, and like I think you could say he's still got a mistake in him, but in this modern day football, like, especially defenders in this England team, almost everyone's got a mistake in them. Like we've seen, and I think he really has like shine under Mourinho, and I think Mourinho's really like done well getting him in that centre back role. So I think, considering how like I would say up for grabs the centre back role is for England, if Dyer continues his form, and if Tottenham do end up having a really good season, I think like questions could be asked. Like, you know, you just see like you don't have that good centre backs. Dyer is very good on the ball because obviously he was a midfielder before, so he's a good sort of ball playing defender. And I think that if we do play a back three, I mean, yeah, most likely it's going to be Maguire in the middle, Walker on the right. On the left, you'd think Joe Gomez, but I think Dyer could put some question marks in for that spot, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd probably say on the plane he's probably not nailed on starter. Ideally, it's probably just from his versatility, definitely on the playing job for me.
Yeah, I agree.
So should we move on to another of your Tottenham lads and talk about Harry Winks?
I knew Winks was coming. I knew it was going to be Winks. Yeah, I think with England, we really struggle with centre midfielders and defensive midfielders. I think going forward, we look phenomenal, and there's really like a lot of good players and a lot of choice. But in terms of centre midfielders, like more defensively or support minded, I think we don't have many, and I think that's the only reason that Winks is even in the conversation in the first place. I think Winks is a tidy player. He can move the ball around. Doesn't really offer much going forward, and I think in modern football, when you look across Europe now, top centre mids offer everything. You know, going back, going forward, relentless energy, and that's sort of what's expected of a proper centre midfielder now. And I don't think he offers that much. Like creatively, doesn't really offer much. Not even really a fantastic defender. So for me, I think he's probably will be in the squad, but I would like to put him in danger zone. But yeah, what do you think?
I've never understood Harry Winks in general. I don't know what he does for Spurs. Don't really get what he does for England. I kind of understand in a sense why Mourinho likes him, just because he likes a kind of just a presence in midfield that will run about. He liked it with Chelsea, with Ramirez and Herrera at United, but I don't find him as yappy a dog as the other two. But for England especially, like you're right, you need a complete player, and we are lacking drastically in that centre midfielder role. But I would say danger zone.
Yeah.
Knowing Southgate, he'll go, but we're going to say no.
We're going to make our stand, Southgate. He's going in danger zone. But yeah. Declan Rice, you want to go next?
Yeah, another player who probably is benefiting from the English kind of tax and lots of touted moves to Chelsea, you know, and his like personal relationship with Mount, and like I don't really understand that because Chelsea midfield is ridiculous compared to what he would bring. But for England, I think he has kind of nailed down that CDM role. He's probably the most defensive midfielder we have who's played as many games as he has. So I'll probably actually say he's probably nailed on starter, maybe.
Yeah,
definitely on the plane.
Yeah, I think he's probably in between those two. But I do have to agree with you that if we're playing a big team, like if we're playing a Belgium or like who we played quite a lot recently, he's definitely starting that game. So in terms of like a big game starter, he's in that team. So I think we have to put him really in starting every game.
Yep.
Fair enough. Do you want to pick the next one?
I'd say next, I'd like to talk about James Ward-Prowse. I think he's really upped his game this season, not just from a dead ball. He's arguably probably the best player in the league from a dead ball situation. But under Hasenhüttl, he's really got that shithouse instinct about him. I've seen there's been clips of him tearing up the turf on penalty spots, which leads to the opposition missing the penalties. I think he is kind of a complete midfielder in the sense of English player pool that we have. I think if you look at him compared to Harry Winks, he offers so much more. He's just in a worse side and hasn't played as much internationally, but I think he is there. And he probably is not at that stage where yet that he's a nailed-on starter, and maybe not even on the plane. But I think he should be on the plane, but probably will be able. I'd accept maybe he should be fine as well.
He's about 25. No, is that? I think he's about 25, 26. But he is a really quality player in terms of he's on the ball. Maybe not dribbling. He's okay on the ball, but his technique is the word. His technique is fantastic, and free kicks. Obviously, we've seen this season. He scored, I don't know already, I think 4 or 5 goals, something ridiculous from free kicks and corners. He's fantastic. He's creating goals for Southampton. I'm not too sure if he offers that much defensively. I haven't really watched him enough to know, but if he does, then I think he's definitely going to put question marks into that team, because we need as we said, we need better midfielders, and we also don't really have a set piece taker. Obviously, we had the Trippier free kick, but if Trippier's not going to be playing, I know Trent can take free kicks. I'm not sure.
You've got Kane and Rashford as well.
Yeah, Kane and Rashford, they take free kicks, but even as a Spurs fan, I'm not really too impressed with. I'm not sure I've even seen Kane score many free kicks, and bringing more Prowse into that team, that creates a real danger from and it also makes sort of opponents. It should make opponents change how they play because they wouldn't be want to give him fouls on the edge of that box, as obviously we saw from Man United. They give that foul and he scores, and he does score a lot. So I think he could be. I really like Ward-Prowse, and I think he could be a really interesting player. I would say for now he's probably going to be like making up numbers, but I would like to see him push to on the plane. So what do you think?
I think if you play midfield 3 or Southgate plays midfield 3, it's a perfect foil for an attacking one, Declan Rice and him. I think that's quite a complete midfield. Obviously, there's another player in that list who probably will be ahead of him, but I would say let's go middle one. Right now, we can always like move it around a bit if we want to.
Yeah.
I'd say next would be the other player that I was just mentioning. It'd be Jordan Henderson. As much as I hate Liverpool, he is, for England especially, kind of a complete midfielder that we need in his role.
Yeah.
With the defensive duties and his variety of passing capabilities. He probably nailed on starter, really.
Yeah. I think, look, Henderson's been phenomenal at Liverpool like the last couple of seasons. I think, did he win Player of the Year last year in the end?
He won one of them.
Yeah, so look, he's starting every game. And even that, in a way, I don't want to be rude because I know he has been phenomenal at Liverpool. But, like, it does sort of show the lack of midfield options at England that he is sort of nailed on starting every game. Because, well, he's just maybe not really my sort of player that you'd like to have in centre mid. He's a bit... He does that dirty work, doesn't he? He does that gritty work that doesn't really... It's not appeasing, it's not nice on the ball, but he is solid, like a solid midfielder. And that's why he's going to be starting every game. So, yeah.
Okay. That's an easy shout. Where would you like to go next?
I would like to go with a bit of an interesting one, who I'm going to say is going to be a centre midfielder because I don't think he's going to be getting in much higher, which is Mason Mount, who obviously Southgate seems to absolutely love, which is a bit of a strange one. But I think he's going to play like in midfield, and I think I know how you said before that Ward-Prowse is good in that 3, but I also think that Mount will sort of take an attacking option, not necessarily like a number 10, but he can play on that left in central midfield as well. So like him, if you want to play more of a defensive side, but maybe play 4 at the back, you could play him, Henderson and Rice, like with Mount going a bit more forward because he does get in those gaps in midfield. What do you think?
I suppose like it's easier if we talk about the range of people who are kind of jostling for him for like that spot. So I think you could actually make an argument for like there's I'm seeing about 5 or 6 players here who are all in that kind of question, and that would be Mount, like you said, Jack Grealish, James Maddison, Ross Barkley to an extent, only just because of his recent Villa form. Phil Foden and Dele Alli. I think they're all in that same role.
Yeah.
Obviously, each of them have their own different abilities and obviously bring totally different things to the squad and the team, and are all also playing at different levels of form right now, apart from Dele Alli, who's not playing at all.
No form, yeah.
Out of those 5 or 6, who would you say is the better player?
In terms of attacking midfielders?
Yeah,
for
attacking
me,
or central.
Number 1 is like Grealish. I think he's like really not the future of England. That's a bit dramatic because Rashford and that's so young. But I really think that Grealish is like a star at the moment in terms of English football. He's just so nice to watch, and he just brings so much quality. Like he really is like phenomenal. Look, like when you watch him play Aston Villa, I love watching Grealish play. I think like he does so much. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm a bit of a fanboy for Grealish, but I mean, I like Maddison as well, but I think Grealish for me is a favourite. And even as a Tottenham fan, I think if Dele Alli's not sorting out something soon, he's looking towards danger zone. Even though I know like Southgate's going to put him in the squad, but in terms of form and the way that he's sort of fallen out of favour, if he doesn't get either a transfer or force his way back into that Tottenham side, he's going to look at danger zone. I think Dele Alli's been underwhelming the last 2 seasons, I would say. Yeah, what do you think?
So obviously, yeah, it's hard not to say that Grealish has probably been the best player in the Premier League this season so far. Like, I don't know how. Like, he has literally carried that Villa side pretty much on his own from they like survived relegation on the last day of the season a couple of months ago, and now they were pushing top of the league at one point, beating Liverpool 7-2.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's like comparing them in stats. He is the more on-form player. With 5 goals and 5 assists this season so far. He has to continue. I know, like, Southgate was quite shy from actually bringing him in the squad when, like, fans and the media were clamouring for him to be in there. And he has finally proven himself in some kind of pointless Nation League or friendlies. So I would, I'd agree with you. I think it's easy to say Dele Alli should be danger zone out of them.
Yeah. Okay.
He has got a chance. I would put Grealish on the plane.
Yeah.
I think what's stopping him from being a nailed-on starter is just his international experience.
Yeah, and I think also with Grealish, like, the formation comes into it quite a lot because it really depends on what Southgate wants to go with, because that role, that like number 10 that Grealish play, it's not really like fitted for every formation, and I really think it depends what he decides to go tactically, because Grealish can play on the left as well, like a left winger, but if we're talking left wingers, I don't think he's really starting. But yeah, we'll get to that.
Everything's relative compared to opposition, and obviously I think we've seen throughout this season Mount and Grealish are both and Foden have all been deployed as either cams / centre mid / on the left or attacking front three. So obviously you started with Mount. I think it's kind of hard to not be in the top 3. It definitely not. I wouldn't say he was in the top tier. I would say it'd be between the other two. It's hard because I've always been in the boat that I think Maddison has been a better player than Mount, but just Mount is he's just loved by managers, and he does prove like doubters wrong. Like, people don't see what he does, but he keeps playing week in, week out, and crocks up with goals and assists, and he might be not as flashy as maybe a Maddison or a Foden, but
he's been good as well in the Nations League, Mount, didn't he? He scored a couple of goals, I think. He scored, is it that game against Belgium? He scored where we won, I think. And he also scored in a game before that as well. Like, yeah, he's been pretty good, to be honest. And look, for me, it doesn't sit right with me putting any of these players on the same as Grealish, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, so
I can get that.
If you're going to put Mount on the plane, I think Grealish got to be starting, even though he's obviously not going to start every game. Like, he's on that tier of player. You know, I'm looking at this top tier of players, and they're all solid, like England players. So I think they've got to be like making up numbers, really. I don't know. What do you think?
I suppose it's good options to have. Like, in the World Cup, I remember like our attacking options are out of like the starting 11 weren't amazing. Like, obviously, like that's when Lingard was in that role, and he was playing well, and obviously he's just kind of dropped off a cliff, and other like younger, better players have come through, which is a good sign for England going into this tournament. But I agree, like, in a tier system, we have to put Grealish one step above. So maybe I'd say Grealish top, Mount probably. I would put Mount below a couple of others, but I'm happy to go with you in that sense.
So should we put Grealish top and maybe put Maddison and Mount on the plane?
Where do you stand with Maddison then?
I really rate Maddison. I would, if it was a number 10, he would be my second. Grealish would be number 1, definitely, and he would be my number 2. But my number 2, is that right? Yeah, I'm not sure. But also, like, I think we have to sort of bring Phil Foden into the conversation as well, because he obviously has looked really, really good, like, as of recent. So yeah,
he's finally like getting his chance at City towards the end of last season as well, and obviously now David Silva's gone. Obviously, there was a thing with him and Greenwood in Iceland with getting the women to come back and breaking that bubble.
Yeah,
and he probably hasn't done Southgate any favours with that. But yeah, I would say that Maddison and Mount are on the same level. I prefer Maddison, but I just don't think he has been given his chance for England yet. So
yeah, I'll stick Maddison and Mount on the plane. And I'm probably happy right now putting Foden on make up the numbers. I think he will be in that squad. But saying that, I don't want to be harsh to him putting in danger zones. I don't think Foden's a bad player. Then also, I don't know if we're doing this in a squad way, but how many sort of players of the same position do you take?
Yeah, of course. I'd stay with that. And then I would put Barkley in a danger zone, but in not a sense like the other players.
Yeah.
I think it's not a danger zone of missing out. I think he's got a chance, but it's an outside chance.
He's got to prove himself. He's already started off well at Aston Villa, and he looks solid into their team. He sort of fit like a glove into their team. But if he has a really good season there, he could definitely be included in that squad. He's got that experience as well. Foden, I don't ever think that your age should really matter, but Foden's got a long time ahead of him to play for England. So, if Barkley's playing well, he offers a little bit more physicality, maybe. It is an option for England.
For sure. So, should we move on to the other two midfielders I think we've got left?
Yeah, we've got
essentially
Bellingham, no? Bellingham and Phillips.
Yeah, Bellingham and Calvin Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go straight off the bat. Probably a bit contrary to just what I said, but I don't think Bellingham's got a chance. I think it's a tournament too soon.
Yeah.
I think he's 17 right now. He's just made that big move Dortmund, annoyingly turning down United, but right now it's understandable in that sense, seeing how well Sancho's done abroad. And he has picked the right squad, especially club, to cultivate talent. And I think he will be there in the future, but this season, I don't think as well as he plays. I know he's just got called up to the squad for the last friendlies or Nation League games, but I think it's too soon for him completely.
Yeah, it's too soon for him. He is really young, and it's not just he's young. I mean, he's only just moved from Birmingham to Dortmund, so he's not really been playing at the highest level for very long. So it's hard to take him into that team. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be great in the future. I've not watched him play that much, so I can't really talk too much about him. But yeah, we'll put him in no chance. And Calvin Phillips, what do you think?
I think the middle one is a bit too much for him. Danger Zone, I think Danger Zone is a weirdly named category or tier. I think with them, I think it's due to interpretation where he's not in a danger zone of missing out. I think if he has a complete season at Leeds, he is the heart of that Leeds side. And the way they're playing very well. They're probably going to stay up this season. And he's already been touted for other moves to bigger clubs because he played. And like we said, we are lacking centre midfielders who are defensive.
Yeah,
he definitely could give Rice a run for his money, but I don't think I think he will be making up the squad numbers really.
Yeah, I'm happy to stick him in. I'm thinking he's going to be more danger zone because I don't really see him going in that squad, to be honest. But I mean, if he has a really good season, yeah. But that's why danger zone is sort of as well as unproven. So I think he should be in there because make up numbers you're coming, but you're sort of not starting. You're just in the squad. I don't know if he's really that yet. So I'd probably say danger zone.
I suppose that you'd only probably move him up if you're looking at as a squad dynamic of like you just said, with all those cams or number 10s. And if you're looking at a squad makeup where he probably you'd probably take another cover in that position than rather take your 5th or 6th cam. Yeah. I think it's easier. Should we move on to forwards now?
I
think
we
get the nailed on starters out of the way with.
We can get the nails on starters, or we can get the no chances out of the way. Which one do you want to do?
Nailed on starters, it's nicer. Let's be positive.
Yeah, let's be positive. So, I mean, Harry Kane starting every game.
Yep.
Yeah? Alright, I don't think we even need to say too much. The only one thing I'll say of Harry Kane, and it's not a massive amount of praise or anything, is that it's weird because we already have a lot of number 10s, a lot of good number 10s in England. But you have seen in this season sort of take on a bit of a deeper role. And I do think for England, definitely for the Euros, probably for the World Cup, he's going to be starting striker. But I do wonder, if he really does gel in that number 10 role, could there be a different striker for him in the future, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, it's like that natural progression kind of as you get older. It's like what Rooney did.
But Kane is still I think he's 27.
Oh, yeah,
so he's
Kane's
definitely taken on early,
years.
but he just Kane just has a really phenomenal talent of not just being. I mean, obviously one of the best goal scorers in Europe, but also he is really, really good at passing, surprisingly good. And I'd like to see Rashford.
First name on the team sheet.
I'd like to see Rashford up top on his own, in the future, and Kane behind him. But for now, First in the team shit, Harry Kane starting up front. So yeah.
As I was going to say, like, the only thing I'd say against him is, like, I would just love to see an England front three without him, in a sense, just because of the actual other strength of the other players. Like a three of Rashford, Sterling and Sancho. We don't get to see that often. And that seems a bit more fluid, but obviously you cannot doubt how Kane has been this season. He's been the best English player in the league, if not the best or the best player in the league this season.
Yeah.
Other nailed on starters, probably you can't look past Sterling, Rashford or Sancho really, but I suppose you could,
I think
as a makeup of an 11. Maybe
Sterling and Rashford, I think they're both starting every game. Like, every big game. I think we'll go I'll put them both in now. I think it'll be more of Rashford on the left and Sterling on the right, which works, I think, for England. I think I can't put Sancho in starting every game because I really like Sancho and everyone knows the talents he possesses. But I think for now he's going to be on the plane, to be honest, until he unhinges, until like Rashford, unless Sterling and Rashford are injured or they fall out of form. He's not surpassed them yet. Maybe he will, but right now I don't think he's starting every game.
It's hard really because you can't just. It's hard to have all four of them with Kane.
Yeah.
Obviously Sancho had a phenomenal year last season, goals and assists, and he probably has an all-round better game than maybe one of them, like Sterling or Rashford. But it's hard to, as a compliment. I don't see why you would never start Rashford. He's got something that the other two don't have.
They're all quite unique, really. I know Rashford and Sterling are both very fast, but they're also very different players. And even Sancho as well, to an extent, is a very different player. I think I prefer Rashford down the middle. And I think he will play left wing for England. And in a sense, I think Sancho might do a better job on the wing than Rashford. But just in terms of like going into actual matches next year, I don't think he's going to get in front of him.
Yeah.
So I'll probably have him on the plane.
We'll go on the plane, obviously. Like, a tournament's a long tournament, and you probably can set up differently to your opposition. So one game, like, Rashford could start, or one game Sterling could start, or one game Sancho could start.
Oh, yeah, when you've got like 3 games a week and you've got like Tunisia or something, there's definitely no problem starting Sancho over Rashford.
But at the same time, you could easily, against a big team, start any of those 3.
Yeah, they're all
it's not
deadly.
Like a weakened team.
We're lucky to have the choice, to be honest.
I'd say, out of the rest, I'd make a case for Calvert-Lewin to probably be the highest.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, I think. I mean, he's obviously had a great, it's not even good enough word. He's had a super season so far. I think we've got to see how the rest of the season plays out. Because Danny Ings had a great season as well, like last season. But I don't see him like anywhere. Right now, I'll take Calvert-Lewin. It's probably making up numbers. But okay. I think end of season, if it stays, he'll definitely be on the plane. Because I'm thinking now, Kane's starting up front. If Kane's unavailable, Rashford's starting up front. Even like Sterling up front would probably be chosen over Calvert-Lewin, if it had to be. But what do you think in terms of that?
I just think like this season, Calvert-Lewin's kind of kicked on from last. He's really become a much more clinical striker than he used to be. You see a lot of goals. He's deadly in the air, and he scores a lot with just one touches. So like what Ancelotti's got into him, like people compare him to like how Ancelotti did with Pipo Inzaghi, just being that clinical player in the box. And he did score in his debut for England. He has been like making there. I think like obviously we don't have Vardy anymore, and like you said, you may prefer Rashford through the middle, but I think he complements the squad well, and I would probably put him on the plane.
Yeah, you've changed my mind a bit, honestly. And because I do remember the goals he scored this season. There's always been talk about Calvert-Lewin in the last few years, like, oh, this youngster coming up, but we never really saw it at Everton before. But now it's like he's showing us, he's showing everyone, like he really is on top form. So yeah, I'll put him on the plane, no problem. For me, like maybe we can just get this one out of the way. Like Callum Wilson for me is a pretty obvious no chance.
Yeah, I think the ship sailed now.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird point in the England squad career that he was making up numbers in that squads. And obviously, I think that was probably when Ings was injured, or Calvert-Lewin wasn't as prolific as he was, or Greenwood hadn't like emerged yet. But if you look at all of those out-and-out strikers or players you play through the middle, he's the worst out of them.
Yeah, and I don't dislike him. I think he is like a decent player. Like, I definitely think Newcastle probably was a good choice to sign him. He's definitely not a championship player. He's an okay striker to have at probably any bottom half team. But yeah, he's just not getting into that England squad, really.
Yep. Greenwood's an interesting one. I think that obviously we said Bellingham is a tournament too soon. I don't think that with Greenwood as much, but also there is so much competition for that forwards roles, and normally you don't take that many out and out forwards in a squad.
Yeah.
I would go with should be fine, but I'm happy. It is maybe a little bit too soon, but we talk about Calvert-Lewin being clinical. I think Greenwood's finishing is unreal for his age. Like,
yeah, I think I mean, maybe people that don't like Man United don't want to admit it, but I really like Greenwood, and I think like technically, his like finishing ability is one of the best in the league for his age. Like you said, I think he needs to build his confidence, like, because if he has that finishing ability mixed with like confidence, that is like a very deadly combo. I don't know if he's going to get that confidence at United. Like I hope he does, but we've sort of seen, it's just the way United are displayed in the media. You've seen the scapegoats. You see how it affects players. Like I know, even as a United fan, you must see that players come to Man United, they get so much stick from them because of how big of a club they are, and the expectations are too high. But a young player like Greenwood, you hope, obviously, you always want these young players to prove the haters wrong, but I don't want to see him like lose his confidence at United. I want to see him become because I really think he's probably got like the highest ceiling of all the talent at United at the moment.
No, absolutely. Like, the media are always getting their knives ready to go at him. Like,
Yeah.
So obviously the media have been getting their knives out going for him. I've seen stupid stuff like comparing him to he's going the way of becoming a new Ravel Morrison, which could not be further from the truth. The potential there, like, I think he will get there. He has the quality, he has the finishing, he's got the natural ability. It's just he just needs to get more games around him, get more experience. And like you said, like, we've seen how good he is right now, and he's only playing off the right of a front three. I know it's a fluid front three at United. But you never see him really an out-and-out striker yet. So I think he's just like, if he continues this trajectory, he's going to be one of England's top strikers and stars for the rest of the season. But for the rest of his career. But I think I'd maybe say middling, or I could put him in danger zone in the sense of just because of the rest of the squad makeup.
Yeah, I think I want to put him in the middle as well, like make up numbers, but I don't know. Yeah, do you know what? We'll be nice and we'll put him in make up numbers. I don't know if he will get in that squad at Euros. Like, maybe not, because we do have a lot of attackers. But if not now, then definitely like the World Cup 2022, he should have done enough at United to get into that squad, I think.
Yeah, it's like, obviously there's been a track record, maybe not under Southgate, but obviously we've seen Theo Walcott go to a tournament very young, barely played. Oxlade-Chamberlain go to tournaments very young, barely played. But yeah, making up the numbers would be, I think, a fair assessment for him. We've only got a couple left, and obviously we touched on Danny Ings before. I think obviously he's injured currently. I think he has been not as injury hampered as other previous seasons. It'll be an incredible year last.
Yeah.
And if I was looking at an overall squad of just strikers, I think he could make a chance. But when you incorporate forwards like Rashford, Greenwood, and Sancho and Sterling, kind of who give an option through the middle as well, I don't think he has a chance of making the squad.
Yeah, I think it's no chance. I like Danny Ings, and I know that he would be a decent option. But I sort of see him in the way, like, I see him a bit better than Callum Wilson, but I see them similar in that Wilson also think he's a decent striker. I think Ings is better, like, in all honesty, and he's probably shown that last season. But I would rather take the risk and take Greenwood over them two. Like, even if he's young, I'd rather like give him that chance to shine.
I would maybe consider putting him in a tier above Wilson.
Yeah. All right, we'll put him in danger zone.
Sure,
because he's got to have a phenomenal season to get into that squad.
Yeah. I'm not sure how you'd want to put like Barnes and Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, so we'll get on to three basically youngsters now. I would put a Greenwood in like a. I know Greenwood is a youngster, but he is sort of a tier above these three, I would say. Or actually, yeah, let's get into it. Do you want to go Callum Hudson-Odoi first?
Yeah, obviously, like he's had a lot of hype about him with all those touted moves coming in from Bayern Munich and signing new deals, and then I think there's a quality player there. I'm not sure if he's actually shown it yet. I understand at some points why he was capped by England and why he's had been in and around the squad, but I think Chelsea's squad is so stacked with competition that he really has to do something to prove himself to not just Southgate but Lampard in general. And if he's not like knocking that door down trying to get in the first team, I don't see where he makes an England squad.
Yeah, I don't
think he has no chance though.
Yeah, I don't think he's got no chance. I think he's shown like he has a lot of skill and a lot of talent. I think obviously Chelsea can keep him at the moment for cup games and stuff like that, but I do think he maybe would benefit from a loan move where he's going to get like a lot of game time, because I think he is ready to play like first team football at a Premier League team, and he's not going to get much game time at Chelsea, especially now they've brought in Ziyech and Havertz, who can play on the left as well. They've just got so many like options there, and he's not going to get through those. And if he's not going to get through those, then he's not going to get picked for England, basically. So I'd say I would like to put him in danger zone, but realistically, it's probably no chance, to be honest.
I think we'll go. Where do you view him compared to Harvey Barnes?
I've not seen much of Harvey Barnes, but I know that the difference for me is that Harvey Barnes is starting most games at Leicester from what I know, and he seems to be fairly decent. So I'd say they're probably
Saka,
similar.
And Saka then.
All right, so Saka
let's look at the three.
Is different for me because Saka is starting every game at Arsenal. I know Leicester are a good side, and Barnes is. I haven't really. I need to watch more of Barnes to get a fuller formed opinion on him. But Saka, we've seen this season, even when Arsenal are struggling, he's their golden boy at the moment. He's like really the only bright light, because obviously they've got fantastic players, you know, at Arsenal like Aubameyang and stuff. But Saka like is really giving them some hope. Like, oh, he's a young player. He actually is ready to start like every Premier League game. I really like Saka. That's coming from a Tottenham fan. I really rate him. I don't think like we've already got options in those positions for England, but he is also a bit versatile. Like you said, we need to find out what his position is. I like to see him as a left winger, but I'd like to put him in make up the numbers, but really, I think Saka is probably going to be danger zone. What do you think?
So obviously, there's a reason why he got given the number 7 shirt when he's 19. To be honest, with all three of them, I think the highest you can push is making up numbers barely.
Yeah.
Mainly, I probably would just put all three of them in the danger zone.
Yeah.
But if you rank the three, I'd probably go Saka, Barnes, Hudson, Odoi.
Yeah, I think Hudson-Odoi like does also have like a high ceiling like for the future, but right now that's definitely got to be the three.
I think like they're definitely in the future they will be like maybe not England regulars but England squad regulars. I think there's a lot to come from Harvey Barnes. I think he offers a lot. He's very different to all those wingers or even forwards that England have on this list, especially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably Saka pushing as high as you can, and then the other two below. In that sense, if those three are in danger zone, then I'm happy for Danny Ings to be in the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's all right. We'll keep Danny Ings in danger zone. So I've put Saka in make-up numbers, and I put the other two in danger zone, Barnes and Callum Hudson-Odoi. So that's it, basically. We've got through, I'm not sure how many players, quite a few players. Must be around 30 players. Is there anyone else?
Is there anyone else that you think has any chance?
I think I'm going to say something a bit stupid. Because I think you're going to say to me he's not English. But someone, who's the centre-back that's gone from Leeds to Brighton this season? Is that Dunk? No.
Oh, no. Ben White.
I quite rate Ben White. But I don't know if he's in the conversation.
That he is English.
He is English.
So,
what do you think about Ben White?
I think obviously he had a great season last year for Leeds. They really wanted to keep him, make him permanent, and he's kind of held down that role in Brighton now, in that gigantic back three of Dunk, Webster, and White. And I've seen that they can deploy him as a CDM as well because he's good on the ball. He's probably another tournament too soon. However, if you're making up a squad of probably you take 4 or 5 centre backs, he's in with a chance if he continues his form this season. I'd probably say, and his teammate Tarek Lamptey would be with more of a chance, but maybe that's more that he gets an England cap soon than him actually going to a squad.
Yeah.
I think the right back, we've said this to death, is the many, many listeners of this tier list will probably be like, can you guys just shut up about right backs for England? We get it. They're good.
They are very good.
Apart from that, all I can think of right now is he's had injuries hit career, but Oxlade-Chamberlain on form is deserving of putting his name into the ring. But that's all relative of if he can keep form.
I like
Same
Chamber.
with Curtis Jones, actually. Curtis Jones for Liverpool is an interesting one. As much as I don't like to celebrate Liverpool players at all, as a United fan, but he's proven to be an able deputy in that midfield when players have been injured or just he's been people need to be rested. There's him, I suppose. There's not many left backs in this list, so who else is English left back? Cresswell, Brandon Williams.
Cresswell's been pretty solid at West Ham this season.
I think we can do better.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of players that are around, like Bamford as well this season. Like even Ollie Watkins, there's players that are knocking on the door that are having half decent seasons, but they're just not really that quality. Even Bowen, is he English, Bowen? When I watched him at West Ham play against was it United, he looked phenomenal. He looks such a good player, but I don't really think he's getting close to many of these players in this list.
It's hard, like I said before, the pandemic has been a bit beneficial to probably many countries going into Euros, but England especially. We were staring down the barrel of having Kane and Rashford missing for Euro 2020, but now we're looking at both of them in pretty good form, Kane especially, and we've had the resurgence or re-emergence of Jack Grealish and other players actually coming in, Saka, all actually rising to Premier League football, and hopefully they can take this to the international stage. Looking at the squad right now, I'm quite confident for England. It's probably national bias, and we all think, oh, this is our year, but
it's our job to think that. To be honest, we've got to think that. Otherwise, what sort of fans are we?
But yeah, after the year that we had, after the tournament we had last time in Russia 2018, confidence is high. Obviously, Nations League and pandemic and friendlies have probably brought England down a bit, but if we can take on that tournament football, if we can take on that and the form that all these players are playing in the Prem and in Bundesliga for Sancho and Bellingham, then we got a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see players like Lallana and Lingard to just be sort of gone now. Just no, you're not good enough to be near that team. So I'm kind of happy we finally got rid of boring players like that. I do think what about Eze from Crystal Palace?
I think he'd have to really kick on. He is starting to make a formidable pairings with Jordan Ayew, Zaha, Benteke. It would be naive to be he needs to be in an England squad before he's actually completed a first full season of Premiership football. So I understand where you're coming from. He looks promising, he looks a bit different, but I think it's too soon.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you. I think it's it's probably too soon for Eze. But there are also Loftus-Cheek. Obviously, he's on loan at Fulham this season. Do you think he could be knocking the door for a midfield position, or do you think just players like Bartley and that are just more solid and just more consistent?
Obviously he went in 2018, but it's hard because there's so many people in his position, and he could have kicked on, and I don't even think he's done as much as he could for Fulham. Like, Fulham are kind of garbage.
Yeah, very, very much so.
But when they got him on loan, like, he should really stand out in that team. Like, if you look, like, Villa had just barely scraped to stay up in the league, and Barkley goes there and looks phenomenal. Granted, they've got a talent like Grealish and other like decent players, but they're both going to like kind of similar level clubs at the time, and just like one's gone up, the other's just not really like materialised yet. It's hard. Like, there's cases for that, or you could think if you look too closely at every single English player, it's impossible. Like, midfielders like Tom Davis, Delph went to the last tournament.
Yeah.
We'd like you said like you're happy that Lallana and Lingard
Delph
are gone.
as well.
John Stones is gone.
Yeah.
This is a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's just
there's teams looking
there's
solid.
too many to pick from. Yeah.
And like you said,
do you want to review the tier?
I'm happy with the tiers. I know you also said like looking at this team, we're excited, but I do also think that most other big countries in Europe, like they've really got like young prospects coming through as well, like France and Germany, like so it is like sort of similar everywhere, but it's hard not to be confident with a team like this, to be honest. But yeah, in terms of the tier list, I'm pretty happy. I would maybe say Connor Cody, no chance.
Why don't you go through for the listeners and viewers what we've decided, and then we can maybe decide if we want to move any.
All right. So you want me to go through all the players and where we put them?
Yeah.
All right. So Pickford starting every game. I'm happy with that. Trent starting every game. Chilwell starting every game. Walker starting every game. Maguire starting every game. Rice as well. Henderson. Grealish is a bit optimistic, but I just think in terms of his quality, he's starting every game. Kane, Rashford and Sterling. Any changes there for you, Adam?
No.
Yeah.
What's in the next tier?
On the plane, we've got Dean Henderson in goal. Trippier, Gomez, Wan-Bissaka, Eric Dyer, Maddison, Mason Mount, Jadon Sancho, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest.
I'd probably say like Gomez and Sancho are like the two out of them pushing to get on the top. Maybe Dyer as well, just positionally. And who's making up the numbers?
So Nick Pope, Tyrone Mings, Michael Keane, James Ward-Prowse, Phil Foden, Mason Greenwood, and Bayako Saka. I like we've put a bit of youth in there. I'm pretty happy with that. I think maybe Michael Keane can sort of get in the bin, but yeah, I think he could be like danger zone. Especially
maybe move Keane down and Ward-Prowse up potentially. I don't know.
Well, you think Ward-Prowse is on the plane?
Out of that list of them, I think he's the highest. Maybe the top of that tier then.
Yeah, I'd say he's the top of that tier, but I don't know if I could put him in on the plane, to be honest with you. But yeah, let's move Keane down one.
Then what's the danger zone? Who's Keane joining?
So he's joining Rhys James in the danger zone, as well as Connor Cody, Harry Winks, Dele Alli, which is a pretty interesting one that we put him in danger zone. I stick with that, but it's an interesting one because he's been in that England squad like since he's come through really. Ross Barkley, Calvin Phillips, Danny Ings, Harvey Barnes, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and yeah, Michael Keane's just been demoted now to the rest of them. What do you think? Are you happy with the danger zone?
Maybe have to move a couple down, but what's no chance then?
So no chance. We've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles twice. We've got, I believe, Lewis Dunk, James Tarkowski, Jude Bellingham, and Callum Wilson. I honestly think, I don't know how this list was made, but I think maybe like it's too early for Jude Bellingham to even be in the list. I feel it's a bit harsh putting him no chance because like for his age and his play, like, I'd rather be not in the list than be no chance, if that makes sense for him.
Yeah, it's probably just because you got called up recently.
Yeah. So, you happy with the tier list? I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest.
Yeah, you maybe dock a couple down, but I think all in all, I think that's quite a rounded squad tier list. Can't really quite complain about that. I don't. Maybe some die-hard Spurs fans, which aren't you,
Yeah.
will be like Dele Alli in a danger zone is a travesty, but they can just suck it. But yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Southgate should take our opinions on board.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I think it's been a pretty fun
It'd
one.
be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see how, like maybe closer to the actual tournament, we make an actual one of who we pick in our 23.
Yeah, I'd like to do like
Or
this for
how
other
close
countries,
this
but
would
it's
be.
different when it's England, like your own country. You know the players inside out. But I would be interested to do this for like France, maybe in Germany as well.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
For sure.
You want to?
Let us know if you want to see more tier lists.
Definitely.
We're easily going to do them. They're a good opinion. They make people talk,
Mhm.
and they're big on YouTube. So hopefully we will be soon.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you want to wrap things up?
Yeah. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for this is my debut on the channel. Hopefully I'm welcomed after Kurt's lofty heights of his other two videos. Doing well. What else do you say? This has been On the Sideline. I've been Adam. This has been Kurt.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, comment. Just interact with us. Let us know. Share it. Send it to your mates.
Yeah.
Even if you think we're idiots for talking about crap about football, send it to your mates.
Let us know who you're moving around the tier list. Who's going down? Is Saka actually no chance and we're just hyping him up too much? But yeah. Let us know.
Let us know who else you would put in this thing as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many other English players that could be in consideration. Probably not, but yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you all for watching. Yeah. If you've stayed with us this long, you can definitely leave a like because you've been watching this for about an hour and 20 minutes, so it deserves it at this point. So yeah. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video.